Natallia Vasilevich from Belarus. I'm an Orthodox theologian and I'm coordinating a project, Christians Against War.
Could you please explain what is Pathways to Peace initiative and why it's important for European churches?
The Pathways for Peace initiative was created with attention to the conflict in Europe, which is happening now, the aggression of Russian Federation against Ukraine, and the role of religion, Christianity played in this conflict was to initiate this conflict, somehow to incite hostilities and hatred, but on the other hand, how churches can contribute to resolve this conflict, to stop the war, to help to Ukrainian churches to reach the audience in the Western Europe, and that we can express also solidarity and our help to Ukraine, to Ukrainian Christians, to overcome the conflict itself and the consequences of the conflict, because the consequences for the whole region will be long-lasting. As you know, CEC was to overcome the divisions between European churches from the west and from the eastern part, and it has a long-standing history of like post-war thinking and post-war understanding and Cold War. For a long time we also believed that peace is not the most important thing we will discuss in Europe, because we don't have war. Why should we discuss peace? And now we come again and again to conviction that unfortunately the humanity is still, and even in Europe, is still not ready to live in peace. And we still have a lot to do to promote peace and promote just peace, and not being just an observers, but also to contribute with any possible ways, to speak with politicians, to speak with civil society, to speak with our communities, and to speak with God also, to receive and to give.
To me, it seems these are really the objectives of Pathways to Peace. You know, some you have mentioned, talking to the politicians, praying at the same time, engaging the policymakers. How do you feel these objectives resonate with your own church and also European churches in general?
Yeah, my church, the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople, is very attentively observing the situation and also taking part in the situation, because it's also a problem for the Orthodox world what happens in the war, because the Orthodox people, where Orthodox churches play a strong role in the whole conflict, in narratives, and building different narratives. Sometimes narratives are very using the Orthodox theological concepts or metaphors from our hymns or things like that, which are very dear to us, which are weaponized, which are misinterpreted, which are used to incite the war, to incite the hatred between people, to deny human dignity. And of course, a lot of theological work from our part is needed to show that that's like manipulation of orthodoxy. It's orthodoxy's perversion of orthodoxy. It's not even heresy. It's something even more difficult, you know, something more tragic when the gospel of good news becomes gospel of bad news. And for us, it's very important. But of course, also because it's our brothers and sisters, in an intimate way, to hear their voice and to help them. And unfortunately, there are also internal conflicts inside Ukraine, and a lot of work have to be done to heal the wounds, and at least not to create new wounds. To be, you know, like in Good Samaritan parable, and that's this parable which is used very much. The church is the Good Samaritan who pour oil and wine on the wounds. its mission of the church in the world is to pour this wine and oil on the wounds to heal them. That's our role as a church. And very often oil is used for another thing. Oil which is put in the fire of conflict, fire of hatred. And very often, unfortunately, religion and Christianity and Orthodoxy is used not as this oil, the precious oil is used not to heal the wounds, but to make a lot of fire and to be a reason of conflict. The Russian Orthodox Church is it's my original church from where I come from Belarus. Unfortunately, the leadership does not show the example of Christian church in the conflict. It is supporting the war, supporting the aggression, supporting the killing of people, and that's we should not ignore this. It must be seen, it must be deconstructed, these narratives, and we also should hear the voices of people in such countries as Belarus, as Russia, Christian people, Orthodox Christian people also, who, despite all risks, despite all threats, they try to speak the word of truth, the word of reconciliation, the word of peace, and it's very, very important. And
but also among all these challenges that you are speaking about, conflict, internal politics within the churches themselves, as a Christian, where do you see the hope?
The hope. This voices, I still see the hope that in dark times, it's Hannah Arendt, she said that in dark times, the people who bring light, they seen better. And that's true, because in dark times, this one person being a candle, being a small lamp, it makes a change. It makes the darkness to go away. And we as Christians, we are this kind of candle which not should be put under the table, but to be light for everyone.